This is the Scary Movie Clubcast.
Live from the clubhouse, it's a Scary Movie Clubcast. This is Amanda.
And Nadine.
And tonight we watched Beetlejuice Beetlejuice.
What?
We actually went to the theater, so I guess, we're recording at the clubhouse, but...
Of course.
Of course.
Wink.
Yeah, definitely not in the car.
No, always
outside
at
the theater.
Every time. The only time we're not in the clubhouse is when we're at spooky spots. And the AMC is not spooky, I don't think. But if it were haunted, that would be amazing.
It would be. I'm going to give a summary since Nadine's going to be giving us our fabulous fun facts. Basically, we're back with Lydia Dietz, and she's all grown up. She has like a psychic medium show. She has this weird show business boyfriend. She has a strained relationship with her daughter. And it opens with her finding out that her dad just died in a horrible accident. Mm-hmm. Big shark bite.
Yeah.
You know, it brings them all back to the house from the original movie. And sadly, the Maitlands have passed on. Or, I guess that's a good thing.
Yeah.
They found a loophole. They didn't have to do their 125 years or whatever.
Apparently. Convenient, as Astrid would say.
Yes. And... unfortunately, though, Beetlejuice has been trying to get back in Lydia's life this whole time.
Listen, some exes just won't leave you alone.
Yeah, they won't. But, you know, it works out pretty well, I guess, because it's just before Lydia's daughter gets her soul or her life taken away by this creepy little boy.
Jane Austen has taught us anything. It's that if a guy comes on too perfect in the beginning, don't trust that man.
Yeah, don't trust that man.
He bad. All right, so fun facts-wise, something that I thought was cute was... Tim Burton said that he would only do this film if Michael Keaton came back. And Michael Keaton said that this was, like, the only sequel that he was willing to do. Which I just think is cute.
I mean, like I said in our first episode, Michael Keaton is the juice.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he is. No, you couldn't do it with anyone else. One of the other Keaton quotes that I liked was he said, "I tried to strip everything and go back to the basics of working with good people and actors and puppets." It was kind of like going back to why I liked making movies.
Aw, cute.
I like the puppets part. Winona Ryder, back when she signed on for Stranger Things, her only, like, condition in her contract was that if the Beetlejuice 2 filming came up, that she would be given time off to go and do that.
That's crazy, because she started that show so long ago.
They've been talking about the sequel a long time.
As we know.
Yeah, I know.
Almost Beetlejuice in Hawaii.
One of the writers, Seth Grahame-Smith, has been working on the script since 2012.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. There were... 2 other writers, both men, so like 3 men that the story's by, and none of whom are Burton, who directs it, of course.
I mean, he didn't write the original, though, either.
Yeah, that's true.
There was that other guy that was obsessed with that.
Oh, do you want to hear this cute Gina Davis quote?
Yeah.
Someone asked her in an interview, like, if she would be coming back, and she was like, "Yeah, no, you know what? Because my theory is that ghosts don't age." And then she's like, "Not that I have."
Looking at Alec Baldwin over here.
Oh, man. Horrible guy. Oh, my gosh. Beetlejuice 2 was a day and a half from finishing filming before the actors' strike began. I know. So
oh my gosh.
I wonder how much, like, time that ended up tacking on to it.
I know.
Okay, so do you know why Charles Dietz, like, the guy who plays him, isn't, know?
He's a pedophile.
For anyone who doesn't know, he pled no contest. It was a 2003 case where he had been soliciting, like, nude pictures from a 14-year-old boy.
Yeah, gross.
In July of 2023, many news outlets reported that things from the set were being stolen, including, like, a large lamp post that was topped with, like, pumpkin decorations, several prop windows, and a version of a large spiky sculpture, like the one that we know.
Yeah.
Eyewitnesses reported that the thief was spotted fleeing the scene in a GMC pickup truck. So I don't know if they'll ever find him. Someday they'll be on the dark web for sale.
Dark web.
So this is the second sequel that Burton and Keaton have ever done together, because they also did Batman, of course.
Yeah, so good.
The role that Willem Dafoe plays, it was originally offered to Christopher Walken.
Oh, yeah, I could see it. I could see it.
And then just the cute little last thing to end with is that, you know, this movie basically came out on September 5th, even though they acted like it was going to be a different date than that. That's when it really was. And that is Michael Keaton's birthday. He turned 73.
Oh, cute.
I know. So
do you know his name's actually Michael Douglas?
Oh, that's crazy.
Keaton is a stage name.
And it was taken.
Yeah, he couldn't
So
use
he was
it.
like, oh, I can't get into the Actors Guild this way.
Exactly. But he's trying to go by Michael Douglas again. But he's gonna. I think it's like he's either gonna go Michael Douglas Keaton or Michael Keaton Douglas. I don't really remember. I recently read that.
Oh, I hate change.
Yeah, I know.
You know, when I first started doing comedy, a lot of people wanted me to shorten my last name. My last name is Donaghy, and so it is a mouthful. But I'm like, dude, that's my name. You'll learn it. I'll be around.
I know. It could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
My cousins are Szlachetkas. They're Polish.
Yeah. Oh man. So what do we think?
I really liked it.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It was fun, and that's really what you're looking for in this type of sequel.
I feel like it had like the right amount of like, you know, recall without like overdoing it. Like another sequel is the Mary Poppins one, and like it had such potential. I felt like the cast was really good, like Emily Blunt, and then oh gosh, what's his name? The guy who does Hamilton.
Oh, Lin-Manuel.
Yeah, he was in it. And you're like, that's what a great duo. They're going to be great. Like, I couldn't think of anyone who'd be better for Mary Poppins than Emily Blunt. And he's so talented, too. And then it was just a rehash of the old movie. Like, note for note.
No new idea.
No.
Nothing
just
fresh.
barely tweaked the old ideas. What do you expect from Disney?
Yeah. Boring.
Yeah.
I know. I feel like... Makes me think of, like, the live-actions ones that they've done. Oh, I'm just like, I don't think that you get what people liked about these movies.
Yeah, I know.
Like...
They're making a Lion King, too. It's a prequel. It's Baby Scar and Baby Mufasa. I know, it's upsetting, because you know what Scar becomes and where it goes.
I don't even want to see them be friends.
Yeah, it's so cute. You're like, oh, no. Okay, scares.
Scares. I mean, it's not scary,
it's not,
but the baby would be the closest thing to a scare, I think, for sure.
The first one or the second one?
Either. I mean, you know, but not scary.
Yeah, very gross. I was like, what?
I know, when Justin Theroux, like, gagged, I was like, yeah.
Yep, I get it.
Especially when you hear the splash of, like, all the water pouring out of yours. Oh, man.
It's so nasty. Oh, that and whatever was raining on the cake.
Oh, I know. I was very disappointed that wasn't done as a practical effect. Because I was like, I feel like this would have been a very doable practical effect.
I know. They got too much money. They weren't forced to work in that tiny little budget like before.
I know.
They're like, practical effects, schmactical effects.
Well, and it's sad, too, because they tried to, like, brag a lot about having a lot of practical effects. And you know what's sad, too, is there were actually several practical effects, too. But the ones that weren't, I was like, but you could have.
Yeah, it could have been better.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the sandworm.
Yeah.
Didn't have that campy claymation vibe. It was very clearly digitally animated.
I didn't like that at all. Like,
We're getting ahead of
especially for the
ourselves.
sandworm, though.
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know if I have a different
I don't think there's anything else scary. I mean, like, she keeps seeing him, and that's scary to her, but it's not that scary to us, because we're like, hey, babe! Like,
the juice is on the loose!
The juice is loose! We're here for it. We came to see him.
I mean, it is a little bit scary to watch how easily Astrid just falls for anybody.
Don't we all?
You're like, really? You just saw him. You just saw him.
Yeah. That's when you like them the most, though, is before you get to know their personality. Those are the good times.
Before the ick.
Yeah, exactly.
Laughs.
So many.
Justin
Could go on for
Theroux's
days.
grandpa.
Oh my gosh, yes, Amanda snorted in the theater.
Well, he died 40 years ago.
I know, it was so good. And then he brings it up twice.
Yeah, it's so even better the second time.
Just so much loss. Your father, my grandfather, as you know.
40 years ago.
So good. Oh my gosh. And also, I mean, literally, Catherine O'Hara is just a joy all the time, and she's perfection.
Always.
But I mean, oh my gosh, in this, she was like carrying so much of the comedy. Like,
she was back on it.
yeah, absolute gold. Like, oh my gosh. I think one of my favorites has to be when she's like, your father has left me. And she's like, oh, you're getting a divorce? And she's like, what a terrible thought. He's dead.
I know.
Oh my gosh. Or I think my all-time favorite one, though, is when she has the people there for the funeral and they're like saying hi and she's like, oh, no one's here yet. So many people.
There's so many people.
But it's not the famous people.
No.
Not the important ones.
I like how she was looking for that the famous guy from the last one, too.
Oh.
She's like, is he here?
So good. I also love when she, like, yells at Astrid in front of everyone. That was so good.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, I can imagine. Like, Astrid's, like, already, like, seems like Astrid's already getting bullied, and it's like her grandma's just screaming at her from outside her window. You know, I do think that, Delia and Moira have to be related.
I know.
Like, they're family.
For sure.
They're family.
It's like they don't know their family, but then they do one of those 23andMe, and it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Definitely, though.
All right, we've already kind of talked about some of our least favorite parts, but our least favorite parts.
I don't like the name Astrid.
Yeah, I don't like it either. Like, I understand, like, Lydia is quirky and would give her daughter a quirky name, but
I'm all for a quirky name. Just something better.
It doesn't fit Jenna Ortega's face.
Yeah.
Either.
Also, I just don't like it, and I
Yeah.
want a name that I like. And it can be quirky and weird. I'm down for that, but just a good one.
Yeah, it just felt so. Every time I heard it, it was always weird. I was always like, it's not right.
No, it's not the
Should've
type
kept-
of name that you want to, like, say again.
Yeah,
You know?
should have kept workshopping that one.
Yes, yeah. I know, I wonder what names they didn't choose.
I know. I need the list.
I would love the list. I'm sure there was something better on there.
We talked about our feelings about the sandworms.
Yeah,
Because
that...
I love the sandworms.
I know. The sandworms are such an iconic part of it.
So iconic.
That to do that wrong is like an insult.
Yeah, it's a little...
And again, because so much of it was so good, it doesn't, like, ruin the whole thing, but it is, like, they should have done that right. I wasn't thrilled with the, like, little cartoon that they did of how Charles, like, died.
Yeah.
I don't
But
really
I mean,
know what I would have done different,
Yeah,
though.
it's hard to do, because then it's like, otherwise you have to, like, shoot it so that you never show his face.
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's, like, really tricky, too.
Well, and then it's, like, awkward, because at that point it's, like, so obvious that you're not using the actor that it makes it weird.
Yeah.
I also thought it was weird that they had him speaking. I thought that was unnecessary. I was like, his head is gone.
Yeah,
he can
he
just
should
be
be-
wandering around and, like...
Maybe some
his
gurgles.
Yeah, I loved the gurgles and, like, the stuff
spirit.
shooting out. So good. But yeah, but I didn't need him to speak. Like, we
Yeah,
don't
because-
need that voice that we know is not his voice.
Because the shrunken hens don't speak.
Exactly.
There's
Oh,
so
the
many of
shrunken
them.
heads. Bob. We love Bob. He's so cutie.
I know, they knew he was. They
Poor
knew we would all love Bob.
And they ripped him from us.
I know. That's soul sucker.
Yeah, also, okay, the other thing that I didn't like is I don't like that at the end, I don't know which part is real and which part isn't. Like, I hope that it's real up to them being at the castle. Like, I hope that she did stop the show and start spending time with her daughter. But I'm like, but I don't know. Now I have no idea.
We don't know. I also saw an article somewhere that it said where Winona Ryder thinks that Lydia and Beetlejuice are endgame.
I mean, maybe. Because I will say that's one thing that I liked a lot about it was that he still liked Lydia specifically. It's not like he was just creepily into young girls and then now was...
Yeah.
I mean, he was creepily into... That is also true. But at least it was Lydia specific.
I know, didn't just flop over to,
To
Astrid.
Astrid. Yeah, because that's honestly, I kind of expected that.
That's
to
what
be.
I expected for sure.
And I'm thankful that it wasn't.
They're like, they want us to like the Juice a little bit more, because he did become more of a hero character in this one, because he did actually help.
Yeah. Although I will say one thing that I read too was they were like asked in an interview like, oh, are you going to make him like a little bit more politically correct or like anything like that? And they were like, no, he doesn't learn. Like he doesn't grow. It is interesting to me though that he's been hung up on her this whole time.
I know. Something about the strange and unusual.
I know. Oh, so cutie cute. But I was very sad with how her life turned out.
Oh, yeah. It is
The
kinda
Maitlands
sad.
wouldn't like it either.
No, they would be very sad.
I know.
But, I mean, at least she's made her own money and became very wealthy.
Yeah, sure. The money part is great. Yeah, but the relationship with her daughter part is weird.
Yeah.
What'd you think of the new characters? Because, like, I heard a lot of people saying that they were like, it's too many new characters and they aren't even helpful. And I was like, I thought most of the new characters were pretty great. Like,
Yeah. And I mean, like, again, it comes back to that thing of, like, not being able to go back to some of the old characters because they have aged.
exactly, yeah.
Or are no longer with us.
Yeah.
In the literal sense. It is kind of sad that she didn't mention Otho once, because, I mean, I guess Otho was shallow, but...
Yeah, I was going to say it's ironic because that was like on your least favorite part.
I know, I did hate Otho, but, like, they were two peas in a pod. Like,
Yeah,
they were, like,
true.
besties.
Yeah.
Also want to know why the house was remodeled, because as we know at the end of the last one, it went back to its original state when the Maitlands were there.
Yeah.
And now it's been painted and redecorated again.
But I guess that's whenever the loophole was that moved them on.
I guess, but...
If only they could have come up with that sequel idea quicker when those people were still that age.
I know.
Then we'd know.
Yeah.
That, man, I did love that line, too. Like, when Winona Ryder says that, and then Astrid is just, like, convenient. Because, like, that is what the audience is thinking. And so I love when they, like, call attention to stuff like that.
I know, yeah. Speaking of things we loved, what's our favorite parts? A tough one.
I mean, Michael Keaton just looks so good. It's just so good to see him, like, in the makeup and everything.
I know. I mean, literally, I went to go see that Flash movie because Michael Keaton was going to be Batman again.
Yeah.
Because I love Michael Keaton.
He's so good.
Although I have heard he's, like, terrible, like, in person. He's not a famous person you want to meet.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Have you ever seen the New Girl episode with Michael Keaton?
I'm sure I have, but I don't remember at all.
It's where Schmidt thinks that Michael Keaton writes him advice, like he thinks that they're friends, but it's actually been his mom and then Nick the whole time. And so whenever he's super depressed, Keaton sends him an email. It's so good. Oh man, because like even when Lydia was in her wedding dress, I like literally can't help but clap. I'm like, I love it.
I know, I was... Like, again, I was worried that they were going to do rely too much on the old material.
Yeah.
But I think they did it just the right amount.
Yeah.
And I think that might be my favorite part. Because, like, I was still got that, like, hit of nostalgia without being like, oh, come on, people. Like, let's be original.
Very true. I also love that, like, every single part is thought out. Like, every single extra that is walking around in the background when they're in the afterlife is... They've died from something specific. You can look and, like, figure it out. It's just a good time. Like,
I love that you have to get on the Soul Train, that there's a Soul Train performance.
So good.
Amazing.
Oh, man. I loved it.
And we finally got people of color.
I know. Thank goodness. Finally. Yeah. Yeah, I think, honestly, it's, like, instead of it being, like, a specific part, even though there were lots of great specific parts, I think it is, like, that overall, that...
The balance.
Exactly. And I genuinely liked the new people. Like, Willem Dafoe, so funny.
So
Obviously,
good.
we love Bob.
Yeah.
I liked Beetlejuice's wife. She looking fine. Like...
Yeah. It's like what I said in the theater. I was like, had a creepy, grubby little grave robber get a babe like that.
Yeah.
And she wanted his soul.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with him.
Oh, man. And, too, when he was, like, describing their wedding night, what do you call it? Like a carnal symphony or something. I was like, may we all be so lucky. I love, too, how he, like, suddenly started speaking Italian. And then, like, the songs, of course, were great. I love when he's, like, serenading from the model. Oh, my gosh. Okay, so you remember how on the last episode that came out last week, This Old Murder House, we... mentioned that this one would be coming out, and then we were like, honestly, if you're listening to the podcast and you aren't excited for the new Beetlejuice, like, what are you even doing with your life? Nathan was listening and heard that, and he was like, I haven't even seen the first Beetlejuice, and then he and then he was like, what am I doing with my life? He and I, like, last week, actually last Thursday, so when the podcast episode came out, he and I were at a comedy thing, and my car was, like, having a thing, and so he and I went to Walmart to, like, get oil for my car, and we found a Beetlejuice DVD, and I bought it for him to watch.
Nice.
I'll have to check in and see if you watched it.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
I know. I told him, too, I was like, you know, you have a teeny tiny bit of a Keaton vibe, I could see. So, yeah, we'll have to see if you got on it. Yeah. Plot quality, I think we thought was good, right?
Yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, there was, like, a lot happening in the plot. Like, the death, the impending wedding, like, Lydia's wedding to her terrible fiancé.
Yeah.
Who became her fiancé at the funeral.
A part of me almost wondered if they were already, like, sort of engaged, but without a date at that point.
Like, it's kind of like at some point I'll marry you guy. Yeah. Like, sure, we'll do that eventually. I'm just not ready.
I know. Heard.
But it was just like, I mean, the plot was fine. It was just a lot of plot points.
You know what else I thought was weird, though, was how, like we talked about in our Beetlejuice review, it's like they had the idea that she was going to be the stepmom, but then instead of doing that, they just, like, played it as if she was the normal mom, but then in this one, they were like, no, she is the stepmom, and it's like,
I know.
Too late. Like, you're too late.
And didn't Lydia say that her mom was still alive?
Yeah, which that was crazy.
That was crazy. Because where was she? Is it
Who's
just
gonna
like...
play her if she's in the third?
Because, like, is it just like... She just abandoned
could it please
Lydia?
be Angelica Houston. That's who it would have to be. I mean,
die.
that would be top tier.
I would die.
I do hope they do a third one, like, relatively soon. Because I do love Keaton, and he is getting old. So let's go ahead and be much quicker on the turnaround time.
I know, yeah.
You can use that idea of Angelica Houston. We would all love it.
Yeah.
Instead of spending money on CGI, spend it on that, please.
Please.
And literally, if something can be done as a practical effect, please do it that way.
Oh, always. I love practical effects always more than CGI. The other thing is comparing it to the original, which is basically what we just did.
Yeah. I do love, too, when he sees his ex-wife and he's like, you look so put together.
Yeah,
So many good jokes.
Good jokes.
I will say, when I saw that this was written by 3 men,
like,
I came into it ready to be like, and no, I stand mistaken. It's well written. I really do think.
Yeah, I didn't like a lot of it. And, like, I don't even mind that I was able to, like, call a lot of the things that were going to happen.
Yeah. Well, and it's not like you're able to call them, like, from the instant, you know, like it...
Yeah. I mean, you pick up context clues.
Exactly.
And, you know, I've been a Beetlejuice fan for a long time. Mm-hmm. Been watching I watch a lot of movies.
Yeah. So,
it's hard to pull one over on me sometimes.
Yeah.
But when you do, I'm shook.
Well, that's how I always think of Marrowbone. I was shook.
And I always love it when there's a twist in a movie I'm not expecting a twist in at all.
Oh,
like Crazy Stupid Love. Didn't think there was going to be a twist in that movie at all. I thought this was just straight shot rom-com, and then boom!
That movie is one of the best rom-coms, like, ever, in my opinion. Like, I remember seeing it in theaters and just being like, oh my gosh, it's been so long since someone made a rom-com this good. And now it's been a long time again, so we are ready for more great quality movies like that. The Dirty Dancing callback. So good. I will say, I personally always give a little grace when I'm judging a sequel because it can only be but so, you know?
Yeah. It's very rare that a sequel is better than the original.
Yeah.
I mean, Adam's Family Values is one of those rare occasions.
Oh, so good.
So good.
Oh, so good. I'm wearing my Adam's Family Values hoodie right now. I love this hoodie.
But it is a rare and special occasion when that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I would say I would give it... I'm torn. I'm torn between 4 flashbangs and 4.5 flashbangs.
I'm going to do 4.6. That's what I think. Mm-hmm. There are a few little things I would change, but nothing big enough that I'm not like, I would enjoy this. And at this point, I would honestly add it to, if I was watching Beetlejuice, then I would be like, oh, we're going to watch both movies. Like, that's how much I think it was enjoyable. And so to me, that's a successful sequel. If I'm like, because otherwise I feel like there are lots of sequels that I'm like, oh, now I've seen that and I'll never watch that sequel again. I'll only still watch the original.
Yeah, we'll pretend like that sequel doesn't exist.
Exactly. But this one, I feel like if I was going to have a Beetlejuice night, it would include both these movies.
Yeah, I'll probably go the 4.5 then. You tipped me just a little bit there to the 0.5. Yeah, because I didn't like it in general. I mean, there were a few things that I was like, okay, why this? Like, why is the cat lady's, why are all her cats dead, too? She got poisoned flesh? Why is he covered in piranhas? Why are the piranhas died eating him? Doesn't make sense.
I mean, they could have, though. Those things could have died.
That's a lot of them, though.
Yeah, but maybe he got pulled out of the water while they were still attached, and then they couldn't breathe.
Flop off.
Well, maybe he got, like, pulled into a boat, and they couldn't flop off.
Maybe.
But yeah, it's a little more than 4 female flesh bags.
Yeah.
When you take a female flesh bag and you cut her in half, that's in the first movie.
Mm-hmm. And then maybe you got one little box with the finger in it.
Oh, yeah.
For that 0.6.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. Yeah, rude that they had not put her body together.
I know, that she was just on the spare part show.
But
she
I-
wasn't spare parts.
But I guess maybe her stuff wouldn't have worked without the electricity?
I don't know.
Galvanism. We're back to Frankenstein now.
Yeah, we're back to Frankenstein nonsense.
Our themes are, we never, like, really intentionally make a theme for the season. Sometimes we talk about that we're going to, but we usually don't. But then a theme always arises.
Yeah, synchronicity is all around.
Yeah. Once you start looking for stuff, you find it.
Yeah, the connections, they just happen.
Yeah. We liked it. You should go see it if you haven't yet. It's worth
For
it.
sure. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Scary Movie Clubcast, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. See you next movie night, and don't forget, there are 49 days until Halloween. Bye! Oh, dang, it's already recording.
It was ready. It was more ready than us.
It's time to rate.
Out of flashbacks. Female flashbacks, to be specific.
Oh, nothing
That's
like a
what I'm
lady
calling Lydia now,
flashback.
by the way. My little female flashback. Put together exes. Although, I mean, really, is she even his ex? They both died.
Yeah, it's till death
Can't
do you
just
part.
not break up with someone and then say that you're broken up.
I mean, it is usually till death do you part.
I don't know, man. They sacrificed a goat. That seemed pretty eternal to me.
They bit the heads off a couple chickens, too.
Exactly. Charles and Delia are together. Then I think he has to at least break up with her.
True.
I like the name Dolores. I thought that was fine.
Old-timey enough.
Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think of what's, like, specific to this one. Oh, I also love the kids' choir singing at the funeral.
I know.
Be cute. And the gravestone being shaped like a shark fin.
So messed up.
Too much.
So messed up.
Oh, I loved the priest being an alcoholic, but like so subtly.
On the low-key, you gotta be looking for it.
So good.
That one's for the parents.
I know. I also loved the priest when they were all singing the song when they didn't want to. How he kept like shaking his
The way
mouth.
he was moving his mouth, you're like, that's crazy. That's a lot of muscle control.
Yeah, it was good. Because I don't know who that is. Like, he's not recognizable to me.
Oh,
but he was
he's
well
I don't
cast.
know his name, but he's been in a lot of things. He was in man, the only thing I can think of right now is what's that movie with the kaiju and the giant robot suits? Pacific Rim.
Oh.
He plays a crazy scientist guy. He's got that look. He reminds me of, you seen Arsenic and Old Lace?
No, but it sounds a lot more like a movie I'd watch.
It's an old black and white one with Cary Grant. It is phenomenal. It's so good. I highly recommend. But he reminds me of the like crazy guy in that one a lot. I don't know. He's like a perfect like Igor type character.
Blah, blah, blah.
You can follow us on HBO.
Oh, I wish. Then we'd have that Lydia money.
Yeah,
when
we'd have
she
that
sold
money.
out.
I would sell out in a heartbeat.
Of course, that's our goal. What are we trying to do here? Sell out.
Sell out.
Like, that's literally the goal.
I only think it's so funny people get mad at their favorite artists for like quote unquote selling out. You want your artist to succeed so they can make more art for you.
Yeah. It is weird how certain people it is like sad or more upsetting than others, though. Like, usually when I see people that I like in commercials and stuff, I'm like, good for you, get that money.
Mm-hmm.
But then, like, when I see, like, the ludicrous one, I'm like, shouldn't you be above this? Like, I don't know.
He hasn't made
It
music
doesn't
in
feel
so
right.
long.
I know, but I don't want to see Luda Hawkins State Farm. It's not enjoyable.
You don't want Sprite more now that Luda has done commercials for it?
Maybe a little more.
Oh, I saw Luda on TikTok. It was so funny. He was talking about August Virgos versus September Virgos.
Real different. I love that he was talking about this. Just what a beginning to a story.
And he was talking about how our August Virgos are all full of themselves and like don't stop talking. He's like, but the September Virgos, that's where it's at. He's a September Virgo.
Mm.
Anyway.
I I'm gonna grab your birthday present real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay, great. It's so hot in here.